Have you ever felt like your house stopped being a home and turned into a permanent support center for problems that aren't yours? Have you ever woken up exhausted before even getting out of bed because you knew you'd have to face, once again, the worries, debts, and frustrations of an adult child who still depends on you? For many retired parents, this has become the new routine, providing financial support, offering emotional comfort, dealing with paperwork, listening to venting, giving up space, giving up time, constantly giving. And worst of all, doing it in silence. Because there's a deeply rooted belief that love means never saying no. That being a parent means always caring, no matter how old your child is. But what happens when that care crosses the line and starts demanding too much? When it stops being an act of love and becomes a burden? You're not ungrateful or cruel for thinking about this. You're human. And maybe you're just tired. In this video, we're going to talk about the invisible weight of continuing to say yes when every part of you has already learned to say no. And more importantly, how to break free without losing love or peace. Talking about this isn't easy. We're dealing with deep bonds, old emotions, and a kind of guilt that often comes from love. But that's exactly why this conversation is so necessary. More and more, we see parents over 60, retired or near retirement, living their lives for adult children who, for various reasons, still aren't independent. And when this becomes chronic, what once was support turns into dependency. What once was shared life turns into emotional weight. This video is not about judgment. It's about understanding what's happening. And from there, finding ways to reclaim your autonomy, your daily routine, and your emotional well-being. This isn't about abandoning your child, cutting ties, or acting coldly. It's about recognizing that the role of a parent changes over time, and continuing to give everything without limits might be harming not just you, but also your child's growth. Maybe you're tired of silently carrying the weight of frustration. Or maybe you've already tried saying no, but felt guilty, as if you were betraying someone. But what about you? Who's taking care of you? Let's walk together through the challenges, the inner conflicts, and the real solutions to living with adult children without losing yourself. And without losing love. Most of us grew up hearing that real love is unconditional. And that love does exist. It's what makes you get up in the middle of the night to help your child, give up your own dreams to support theirs, or tear up just from seeing them smile. But when love turns into a lifelong vow of self-sacrifice, it stops being healthy. That's when many fall into a trap, believing that loving means never saying no. That being a good parent means never setting boundaries, even if it costs your peace, health, or retirement. The truth is, adult children need boundaries more than ever. Not just to mature, but to become responsible for themselves. When that doesn't happen, the relationship falls out of balance. You give everything, time, money, structure. And in return, you often get frustration, pressure, and even ingratitude. Not out of malice, but because the dependency was fed for years through permissiveness, fear, and silence. What starts as help slowly turns into obligation. You find yourself paying bills that aren't yours, giving up trips or small pleasures because of someone else's debts, living with people who feel more like guests than family, all in the name of a love that, deep down, has already turned into exhaustion. This dynamic is even harder when your child is dealing with emotional instability, addictions, or chronic difficulties. Your instinct is to protect, always. But there's a big difference between comforting and enabling chaos. Real love isn't about putting out fires every day. It's about teaching someone to build a home that doesn't burn down. You're not failing as a parent by setting boundaries. You're simply acknowledging that unconditional love doesn't mean infinite help. There comes a time in life when protecting someone starts with protecting yourself. And believe me, many children only learn to walk when you stop carrying them. Most people don't see it. Sometimes, not even you notice it right away. But little by little, the weight piles up. It's that tiredness that doesn't go away, even after a full night's sleep. The constant irritation over little things. The feeling that your house isn't yours anymore. That your retirement, the time that was finally supposed to be yours, was hijacked by someone else's routine. This is the invisible cost of continuing to support an adult child, emotionally or financially, without clear boundaries. It's a silent wear and tear that slowly erodes your self-esteem, your energy, and often, your mental health. You stop doing the things you love because you have to be available. You stop buying something for yourself because the other person needs it more. You stop going out with friends or traveling because you're afraid to leave your child alone. And then one day, you realize your life has shrunk. Your freedom disappeared. Your energy is gone. And all of it looks normal. Because you're just doing what's right. But the truth is, it's not right that you continuously sacrifice yourself to sustain a dependency that should have been outgrown. It's not fair that love turns into a lifelong duty. It's not healthy for your presence to be used as a shield against an adult's failure. And the cruelest part is that often, you suffer in silence. Because you're ashamed to admit you're tired, afraid of seeming selfish, or even guilty for wanting to step back. But there's no selfishness in wanting to live with lightness. There's nothing wrong with wishing your days could be yours. You've spent your whole life caring for others. Now who's caring for you? This silence of emotional overload needs to be broken. And the first step is recognizing what it's been taking from you. From here on out, we'll talk about something liberating, the power of no. Who's caring for you? That's not a rhetorical question. It's an invitation to a major turning point. You've spent a lifetime saying yes. Yes to sleepless nights. Yes to sacrifice. Yes to starting over, as many times as needed. But maybe now it's time to learn a new way of loving. Saying no. And let's make one thing clear. A parent's no is not abandonment. It's not rejection. It's not a lack of love. It's maturity. It's a sign that the relationship needs to change in order to remain healthy. Adult children need solid role models more than anything. And you're still that role model, even if that means disappointing them. Saying no when the other person expects yes may lead to discomfort, conflict, or even tears. But it can also lead to growth. By setting boundaries, you offer something your child may have never experienced before. Real responsibility for their own choices. You stop putting out fires, and they finally realize they need to learn how to handle the flames. Yes, discomfort will come, but it's temporary. What's permanent, if nothing changes, is the cycle of dependency, frustration, and resentment that will take over the relationship. The no gives back the weight of consequences to the one who needs to carry them. It creates space for you to reconnect with yourself, your desires, your pace, your autonomy. And even more, it gives your child the opportunity to grow. Because deep down, no one matures by being carried forever. You didn't raise a child to need you forever. You raised a human being capable of walking on their own. And maybe now is the time to let go, lovingly. Not to push them away, but to allow them to discover what they're capable of. Saying no is not an act of harshness. It's an act of brave love. The kind of love that doesn't shield someone from the world, but prepares them for it. And it's precisely because you love that it's time to set boundaries. Not to punish, but to set both of you free. Saying no is an act of love, absolutely. But how do you do that when your heart feels tight? When your child insists, cries, or throws phrases at you like, "You've changed. You always helped me before." Or worse, "You're abandoning me." The truth is, setting boundaries requires emotional preparation and strategy. The good news is, there are ways to do it with both firmness and respect. 1. Start with yourself. Know your limits. Before saying anything, you need to understand your own boundaries. What are you no longer willing to offer? What's harming you? What's your limit? Financially, emotionally, physically? If you don't know where the line is, others will keep crossing it. 2. Choose the right moment to talk. Avoid conflicts during stressful moments. Set aside a calm time to talk, when both of you are available. Treat the conversation with seriousness, like a negotiation between adults, because that's what you both are. 3. Use clear language without aggression. You might say, "I've been feeling really drained by this routine. I need to set some boundaries to protect my health." Or, "Starting next month, I won't be able to cover your expenses anymore." It's important that you start planning to take over that responsibility. Avoid over-explaining. A boundary doesn't need to be defended to the point of exhaustion. It needs to be communicated with respect and conviction. 4. Make clear, objective agreements. If your child still lives with you, set a time frame. You can stay until the end of the year, but during this time, I expect you to actively look for a job or other living arrangements. Establish responsibilities and routines. Contribution to expenses, respect for shared spaces, cooperation with the household. 5. If needed, say yes with conditions. Instead of cutting everything abruptly, say, "Yes, but I can help you this month, but I need you to show me how you plan to manage your finances from now on." This shows presence, but not submission. 6. Prepare emotionally for resistance. Children who are used to getting everything easily may react badly at first. They'll test your limits. Be firm. It's not your job to please. It's your job to protect your emotional space. Setting limits isn't about creating distance. It's about creating clarity. It's stepping out of the cycle of endless giving and stepping into an adult relationship where each person takes responsibility for their own life with dignity. And believe this, the relationship tends to improve when mutual respect exists. But that first step has to come from you. Even when everything is clear, the boundary has been set, the conversation has happened, there's something that often comes next: guilt. That lingering feeling that maybe you were too harsh. That fear you're abandoning your own child. That inner voice whispering, "What if they can't handle it? What if I'm being unfair?" But here's a powerful truth. Feeling guilty doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Guilt is often just a reflex of a lifetime spent putting yourself last. You've always prioritized others. Now that you're putting yourself first, yes, it will feel uncomfortable. But that discomfort is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of change. Guilt tends to show up when we break old patterns. When we finally step into a space we've long ignored, the space of self-care. And here's the strange part. We often feel guilt over things that haven't even happened. We suffer in advance, imagining how our child might feel hurt, frustrated, or reject us. But adult children can and should handle frustration. You can't keep carrying their emotional and practical life just to avoid one hard moment. Your boundaries don't hurt. They protect. They say, I care about you, but I need to care about myself too. They teach the other. You are capable, even if you don't believe it yet. It's natural to feel emotional, to hesitate, even to want to take it all back. But remember, giving in to guilt means going back to the prison you're trying to escape. You're not being cruel. You're being responsible. And emotional responsibility can be painful, especially for someone who's always been everyone else's safe harbor. But now you need solid ground. And that foundation starts where guilt ends. In the clarity that choosing yourself isn't betrayal. It's finally including yourself in the care you've always given to others. After the guilt, the conflict, and the hard conversations, something begins to shift both inside and out. You start to breathe more easily. The silence in your home returns, and you realize it's not emptiness, it's peace. You reconnect with small rituals. Your morning reading, a slow walk, the joy of cooking just for yourself. Simple things, but ones that had been swallowed up by constant obligation. By setting boundaries, you reclaim a space that is rightfully yours. Your time. And it's not just you who changes. Your relationship with your child also has the chance to grow. Because when they realize they can't rely on you for everything anymore, they begin slowly maybe, to find their own way. And even if they complain at first, over time, they may come to admire your strength. They may start to respect what they once only expected. Children grow when parents stop carrying them. And parents grow stronger when they stop erasing themselves. Choosing yourself is not selfishness. It's self-care. It's remembering that you are still alive. That you can still learn, travel, have fun, meet new people, start over. You don't have to retire from your own life just to keep being a parent. When you choose yourself, you teach, by example, that healthy love starts from within. You are not alone on this journey. Many parents are facing the same challenge, learning to balance love and limits, care and freedom. So remember, loving doesn't mean erasing yourself. Being firm and saying no is also a powerful form of love. When you choose yourself, you make room for a relationship that is more authentic, healthy, and long-lasting, with yourself and with your children. Your life matters. Your peace is sacred. Taking care of yourself is the first step in truly caring for those you love. If this video touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear this message too. Saying no with love is a difficult but essential step to reclaiming your life and your peace. Leave a comment. What's something you wish you could say to your adult child, but haven't had the courage to yet? And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content that helps build stronger family relationships with respect and balance. Remember, taking care of yourself is the greatest act of love you can practice. Per Gunter AO ChatGPT,